friends. Today's drawing is going to be, can you guess? Donuts. Who doesn't love a good donut? Even if you're gluten-free. Don't you miss donuts? It looks like it's going to be easy, but it looks maybe deceiving, so I'm going to go ahead and do around the edges, give myself a starting point like I usually do. I know I might be wrong, but I will remove it once things start to take shape. Sometimes you gotta do it wrong to do it right. What do I mean, jelly bean? Then I'm gonna do my layering, and that's gonna help establish some stuff too. I don't usually eat donuts myself. It's one of those treats where it's either something that happens in the office, somebody brings a whole bunch of donuts into the office, or and usually it's Krispy Kreme, am I right? Because if you're gonna bother bringing donuts into the office, you gotta get the best donuts, and the best donuts are Krispy Kremes. People order Krispy Kremes from like Germany. It's true. In fact, there is, I think it might have been during the early days of the pandemic, there was one very proactive young person who made a little business out of getting Krispy Kremes and delivering them all over, like the Midwest or something. He would drive to California, pick up 100 orders. He would charge premium for the service, but that's how loved they are. Like, then he'd go to like Salt Lake City or something and deliver them by hand in person. It's not crazy, but if you've ever had a Krispy Kreme, you get it. All right, here's a shadow. We're gonna start going in there. Yeah, Krispy Kremes. Last time I was at Krispy Kreme, I was on my way to Burning Man. I was with a friend, and we decided to stop for lunch, I think, or a coffee, because it's kind of like a road trip. Once you're on your way to Burning Man, it's like all bets are off, and you just like, it's like a spring break type of energy. If you've never been, if you have been, it's like a Burning Man kind of energy. You know. If you know, you know. So, alright, now that we have the inside of that, I'm going to go ahead and do the shadow, because this is round. It's round like this. And so the light is going to stop hitting it right mid-curve. So I'm going to do my darks right below here, and I might even effort to make this a little bit more halfway up here. So there we were, getting coffee. There was a Krispy Kreme really close by. We were like, oh, wouldn't that be cool? And then while I was there, one of the things that happens when you're going to Burning Man, if you're with a camp or with other friends, is that usually unless it's a very small group. If it's a bigger camp like mine was, you're gonna go in waves. Everybody's gonna arrive at a slightly different time. And some people are actually there for the build. So they've been there a week before the event, usually it's only a few days before the event, unless it's a really, really big installation, like a art installation. Otherwise, you're usually there like maybe the Friday or Saturday beforehand, and you spend Saturday putting together the camp, because the event starts officially on Sunday. There we go. Let's remove a little bit of this. It starts officially on Sunday, even though last I was there, it felt like pretty much half of the event got early entry, which was really unfair to those who, deserved or was actually working. Most of it, nobody's really. It's like, yeah, I need to go early entry so I can help build the camp, and then they don't. Or it's far too many people than you need. Because it's nice to be there before all 80,000 participants get there, and it's a lot more quiet, it's a lot more chill. And as a matter of fact, many of us veterans, we leave on Wednesday because it gets, and it wasn't always like this, but it gets to be complete insanity. In my opinion, I don't like big groups. I don't like large groups. If you're an extrovert and you love being social, it would be heaven for you. So, I would recommend it, but it's not heaven for me because I am an introvert and I prefer quiet time over loud time. I can do loud time, but only in doses. And so, for people like myself, it's a nice little soft entry to the event. I have never left on a Wednesday, but I have not ruled it out. So, anyway, my friend and I were stopped at Krispy Kreme, and, oh, yes, I was telling you about people get there at different times, and so sometimes I'm getting there a little bit later, and there's already a bunch of people in camp. And one of the things that is absolutely precious is fresh food. Because, you're camping for a week. It's pack in, pack out. There are no restaurants. There are no vendors. You're on your own. So you bring camping food and make do. So, you can go crazy. You can bring your grill and have steaks every night, but most of us live a little bit more simply. And we do the camping food type thing. And so if you're coming in later and people are already in your camp or there on the playa, one of the treats you can provide is to bring fresh food. So I often opt to stop at Aikida's on the way, which is right around Nevada City or Auburn. And Aikida's is known for its fresh homemade pies. And a number of times I've stopped and we get a hamburger for lunch or some kind of lunch, and they have fish and chips too, I think. And then pick up a pie and bring it to the playa. On this trip, see, now I'm already determining that this edge here is conflicting with this, so I'm just going to remove it. That's a nice thing about pencil. I'm going to remove that so that I can use the shadow of the donut behind it to create the edge. A little bit more. Yeah, so basically what I'm getting at is we were standing there in Krispy Kreme going, oh my God, we need to bring our camp some Krispy Kremes. Because not only is it awesome to have fresh food of any kind, but it's Krispy Kreme. Oh my God. That would be like Ben & Jerry's before Ben & Jerry's was everywhere. Such a treat. You go to Vermont just for Ben & Jerry's. Oh my God, we gotta go to Ben & Jerry's. We're in Vermont, we gotta go to Ben & Jerry's. Which is the best ice cream. I grew up on Ben & Jerry's. So we got a couple dozen, which is not cheap. It's not like supermarket donuts, that's for sure. The truck agrees. So we got a couple dozen donuts because we had a camp of 80 people that year. Wanted everybody to have a Krispy Kreme. And oh my gosh, we got there, we're like, we got Krispy Kremes, and everybody was like, you are an angel. Yeah, very well received. And then you get to have a Krispy Kreme, and it's going to be the last fresh food you have for 5 or 7 days. Yep. Krispy Kreme. Just remember Krispy Kreme. Krispy Kreme, everybody loves Krispy Kreme. Even gluten-free people will make an exception for Krispy Kreme, and they will feel it later, but unless they're celiac, where they could die, literally, I would like more people to use the term gluten sensitive. You're not allergic. If you're allergic, if you have celiac, you have a very serious disease. So it's okay to be gluten sensitive and have it make you feel terrible, but don't get it confused with a real condition. I'm sensitive to it. I prefer not to eat it, but I still do when it's something like this. If it's worth it. Krispy Kremes on the playa. That could be the title of my Burning Man chapter. Krispy Kremes on the playa. I'm writing my autobiography because my life is so fascinating. Uh-oh, I'm getting out of the frame. Alright, so... not only is that the nice thing about pencil is that you can edit with an eraser, but you can also edit if you're using a digital program. They have either erasers within the program, or they have the coveted undo command. Undo. That's what my cousin's name, Andrew, and I think it was him saying his own name. He could only say undo. What's your name, Andrew? Undo. The things we remember. He probably doesn't even remember that. So, I grew up with Dunkin' Donuts. Now that's everywhere, and it's now called Dunkin' because they do more than donuts. I've never considered them an excellent donut shop, but their marketing is beyond, and they managed to make a name for themselves around the world. And what's crazy is I saw a Dunkin' Donuts in, of all places, the airport in Bali. Like, I'm sorry, what? There's a Dunkin' Donuts here. they're from like Waltham or Massachusetts or something like that. Some small, inconsequential town in, you know, the Northeast. And I'm looking at a Dunkin' Donuts store in Bali. It was a bit of a, yeah, trip. Speaking of Burning Man. Of course we go there to do drugs. Not everyone, but most of us. It's not Bible camp. It's Burning Man. You have an opportunity to crack your head open in a safe environment. Commune with others. Not just any drugs though, it's mostly hallucinogenics, and you don't see that much meth and stuff like that. That's gross. So up here, since this is finishing off the silhouette, I'm going to do the edge here. You're not going to see a lot of meth. You're not going to see a lot of heroin. That would be very, very unusual, and they stand out because what people do to alter their minds is chill. It chills you out. The prevalent substances that get us to another space. In fact, makes you want to love everyone. Kind of the opposite of meth. So, it's such a good vibe out there. It's wonderful, 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 wonderful. Cracked my head open, and boy am I glad it did. Very loving, safe place for that. We all take care of each other. It's a very community flavored event. We're all making sure everybody's okay and hydrated and emotionally stable, and they do have med tents, and sometimes things go wrong, and so they have support for that. Absolutely, you're not gonna be that on your own. They have med tent. I got an eye infection one year, which was actually the inspiration for the camp I was a founder of. And I ended up at the med tent, and they couldn't really do much for me, but they gave me a saline drip, and that got me hydrated at the very least. So that was cool. But if it's worse than that, you end up going to Reno. So most people are like, I want to go to a doctor. And it's like, well, you got to get on a bus, and you're going to travel 3 hours to Reno. You really want to do that? And all of a sudden they get better. Or at least find a way to go back to their camp and just chill with a friend, somebody who's watching out for them. You know, that's how we roll. What do you think? Is that done? Here, let's clean up this edge. Eyesight is good enough, you can see where the pointy part of the pencil lead is, and you can use that as your razor sharp pencil. And if your eyesight isn't so good, you just gotta hope. And I'm often hoping. And I'm often hoping in general. But I'm also accepting I decided during my meditation, during the in-betweens managing to quiet the mind, I decided to start practicing radical acceptance. I don't feel like I've been accepting myself lately. I've been trying to fix me. And in particular, I'm trying to fix my busyness, my having many interests. It can be a little overwhelming sometimes. And I've been trying to be a different person, but I just realized, and that's kind of what happens when you meditate. You're successful at not thinking thoughts, and then you think thoughts, and sometimes that's when the divine inspiration comes in. Anyway, there I was, and I was thinking about that, and I realized, you know what, Bets? You are who you are, and this is who you are, and instead of fighting it, why don't you embrace it? Learn to live with it. You've always been this way. It's your nature. If you want a lesson on nature, watch The Crying Game. It's your nature. Just accept yourself and love yourself gently for who you are and develop ways to deal with it. You're never going to not be busy. And not, the general life, you'll always be busy, you'll never be done. It's more like you're always going to be crazy busy. You're always going to have interests, almost too many, and loads of things. So accept it. Learn to live with it. Embrace it. Enjoy it. Honor it. Be with it. And that's self-loving. I don't want to try to be somebody else. I want to be me. I'm fun. I'm cool. I like me. I'm alright. I'm getting the black stuff off of my eraser. I'm alright. Yeah. Do 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 do. Almost done. I'm gonna put a little edge here, just a little tiny little edge. If I see any unadorned lines, that's when I go, whoop. Let's give that some body. And it can fade off and just be for that one little area. Nermy nerp. Alright. And there, I have a detail here that I didn't work on. So this is glaze. Glazed donuts. This is glaze. This is the frosting. Just going to indicate that with a little edge because the frosting is on top. And there. That's really all you need for now. And yes, there's a lot of white. That was my exercise. This is your drawing for the day. And I'd say we're all good. Awesome. All right. There she is, 3 donuts. Thank you guys. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. And I hope you have a great week, and I will see you in the next video.